Hey Slayers, it's your girl Tiana, the Swagslayer, here with the Buchanan from the Buck Effect, who's back here doing weird things during backstage time. So now I forgot what I was supposed to be saying. However, we are going to come to you with the portfolio, the NFT portfolio, actually. Before we jump in there, make sure you slay that subscription button and that notification bell. And don't forget that this video is brought to you by the Swagslayer Young Entrepreneurship class. Head over to swagslayer.com and sign your young entrepreneurship. Your young entrepreneur up. See, don't do a show with Buchanan because he done did all kind of wild stuff today. I can't even think. But Buchanan is going to show us his NFT portfolio. And he's going to pull up on the screen, and we're going to jump right into it.
All right. Now, let's start off by telling you guys, I am not an accountant. I'm not a professional by any means, but my mom did not raise a fool, and so I felt it was very important to eventually start tracking, our digital assets, and so that's what I started doing on Google Drive. And so, as you can see, on my account, I have around, I guess, like 30 digital collectibles, and I have just 2 digital comic books. These are all NFTs on Vivi's marketplace.
Yep.
Right. And so, so, one of the things you can see is, on the left side, on the first column, on column A, I have all the collectible names. Column B, I have the rarity. The rarity can be, anywhere from common, uncommon, rare, ultra rare, or secret rare. And then column C, I have the seasons, because some people, pay attention to that as well. And then I have the addition in column D. Column E, we have a comparable addition. So when looking up these prices, I look for, a comparable addition to what I have myself, something pretty close in regards to comps, so I can determine what its value is going to be in the second market. But at the end of the day, you guys have to remember, when it comes to these prices, if you could get someone who's willing to pay more for it, I mean, hey, that just benefits you. You know what I mean? But I put down the value of whatever the comparable collectible I found within that market for the NFTs that I owned. Okay.
And Buchanan, when you're saying in the market, you're talking about inside the VV app, their market,
yes,
correct?
Correct. So, on the second in VV, they have a marketplace where after anyone would have purchased the collectible or comic in the first original drop, then they have the ability to resell it on a second market through their app. And eventually they'll have that capability on their website as well, but just not right now. And so then I put like the floor price. So anytime you're looking up these NFTs within the app, it's going to show you a floor price, which means, the lowest price someone's willing to sell that particular NFT for. And so that's important as well. That's why I put it on there. So, this is like, no matter what, I could probably get this price for it since it's the floor price. Now, my NFT or your NFT could be worth more than the floor price because you got to take in consideration the addition number. So, someone might, theoretically, for this DeLorean, the floor price at the time when I looked this up, which was on January 12th, this ultra rare DeLorean right here, the floor price was about $1,099, right? Sorry, hold on 1 second. And so, Yeah, $1,099 was the full price for this particular NFT. And the edition that I have is 1682, and a comparable NFT to mine was one that was 1613, and it was selling for almost $1,200. Okay, my original cost of that NFT was $301, which at the time I'm not even sure if I told Tiana I spent that much money on digital.
Yeah, man, I hear just blowing money left and right.
But I thought, I was a fan of Back to the Future, so honestly, this could have been $500. I was gonna find a way that I was gonna be able to buy it, and I know there were other people who felt like me. So, and now, so these are unrealized profits. So if I were to sell it for the value of what I believe I have, I would make somewhere around $893.88. And that's pretty much how I did this this spreadsheet. And so let's see.
And just keep in mind, Slayers, like I know we talked about it, but I know everybody hasn't had the opportunity to watch all of the Swagslayer Backstage. Definitely hit up the playlist so you're not missing anything. But when he's talking in dollars, currently right now in the VV app, you can only use dollars to purchase gems. And then when you resell the item inside the VV app, you can only get gems. They are working on you being able to convert those gems into fiat currency. Fiat, again, is your native currency from your country, or to be able to convert those into OMI tokens, which is VV's native token.
Correct. So, based on that, one thing I think we talked about in one of our videos in the past was, some of these common comic books that a lot of people were sleeping on are becoming, pretty valuable. The original drop was like $6.99, and now they're worth $170 for the Fantastic Four #1, and the Marvel comic #1 is selling for, or this one's selling for $374. The floor prices are right here. 154 is the floor price, or $360. Right now, we have like about a 1.3 to 1.5 million active users on the VV app. And so, what you would have to ask yourself is, do you think, when we start getting, to like 5 million, 10 million active users, and I want you to put into perspective, we don't even have the VVverse available yet. I believe there was a video that just surfaced not that long ago, a couple days ago, with Al Khan, the guy who brought Pokemon to America, and made that brand as popular as it is now. He's also the same guy who brought Cabbage Patch Kids to America as well. He said, as a part of the VV company, because I believe he's part of the executive team as a consultant. He said that the company who made Pokemon Go is partnered with VV, and they're helping develop the games that are going to be played on the VVverse. Okay, so imagine how big Pokemon Go was. I believe at one point there was like maybe 200 million active users playing Pokemon Go. So imagine if we are able to bring that amount of network effects to VV, with not just Pokemon brand, but maybe hundreds and hundreds of these brands that they have licenses for, where people are paying scavenger hunts to win, these collectibles that are worth tens of thousands of dollars in some cases, or millions of dollars in some cases. Do you think, when someone, in that future, theoretically, do you think that, this Fantastic Four #1 or Marvel comic #1 is just going to stay at $154 for the floor price, or $360 for the floor price? A lot of people like me were guessing that's probably going to be much, much higher. It could be in the thousands by that time. And so that's what we're betting on.
And that's definitely something to think about, because the VV, the app is still so very new. The VVverse has not become into fruition yet. They're still working on it. And there's so many people who don't even know about these things. It's almost like being the first one to know about this new hot thing that's going to be part of your everyday life, and cashing in on it now with your extra 20 here, extra 50 there, $6.99 for the comic book blind box drops that you're able to hold on to, and then in the future be able to trade in for something else, to trade up, or trade out for cash. Again, for those listening on the podcast, we're not professionals. We don't want to lead you to believe that we are. We're just speaking from our own experiences and what we're hoping is going to happen in the future. We're very excited about VV. As you can tell, we talk about it a lot, and what they have going on right now in the future, and their premium collectibles.
Yeah. Now, for instance, like this Superman, when Superman dropped, you guys really don't understand how crazy low the price for Superman was for a long time. I think like for the longest, $500 was like as high as it would go, and then it was like $250 forever. Superman and Supergirl was like at really low prices for a long time, and at that time, I think we were paying off debt. There was like a point in time where I stopped buying a lot of collectibles.
Yeah, debt payoff was definitely priority.
And I kicked myself because, I mean, now that Superman, let's see, highlight this. The floor price is $4,460, I think, when the last time I looked on the 12th. Mine's is a lower edition compared to how many of those Supermans were created. You know what I mean? It's worth almost $5,000, and so imagine when it was $250, $1,000, $2,000, how much you could have flipped that for. And I don't even think it's been 9 months. It hasn't even been a year since that drop. So, and for anyone who's, used to investing in stocks and stuff like that, think about the turnaround. It's very similar, if not even greater than the turnaround that's in these crypto tokens that I've seen a return on.
That's true. That's true.
And so when you look at like at the bottom on row 100, give me 1 second. So I invested around $3,100 into these NFTs. And when I looked at the comps of the NFTs I owned, it was valued somewhere around $15,469.25. If I were to sell it at those prices, I would realize a profit of $12,366.99, which would give me a ROI of 398%. Okay. Now, I'm not a rocket scientist,
right?
But that sounds pretty dang good to me, guys. And I have nowhere near the collections that are out there that some of these other users on VV have, who are even more serious when it comes to collecting these NFTs. I more so was just doing this as research and a little bit of a fan, of some of these things. My main concern was investing in the token that eventually will power the whole platform of VV. That's where, me and I believe Tiana, were more focused on owning the token. But it looks like right now that, there's a lot of money in investing in these NFTs, and that's where I can see myself and other people like Tiana, building our business on this platform using, any wisdom we've learned from reselling on this platform. I mean, buy
Facts.
for low, sell for high. I mean, I don't know, just my thoughts on it. What do you think, Tiana?
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, my background is definitely in. Are we still sharing our screen? Or are we done with the screen share?
Oh, we could finish on me.
Okay. My background is definitely in reselling. I've been reselling before I even knew reselling was a thing. Basically my whole life, because I was always like, I'm too young to get a job. How can I make this money to buy what I want? And at the time, it was the mall. That's what I wanted to buy. And so everything in it, I had to figure out ways to make money. And so I always have been doing that since I was young. Now, I sell clothes, shoes, jewelry. I sell on Amazon, different things like that. But as I drift into a stage of life where I don't want to be bothered, I'm trying to make sure that I set myself up for a future to be selling things that are not tangible. I don't have to store in my house. I don't have to store my offsite unit that I have. I can literally just pick up my phone, run my whole business from that. Everything is just cycled through that anywhere I can get a decent internet connection. So to be able to do that, I've thought about and worked on different avenues and just didn't come up with anything that was lucrative enough for the work that I was putting in or the time that it was going to take after I put in the work to, meet the standards that I have, because let's be real, the standards are a little up here and they're going a little higher. So I just needed something that was going to work with my goals and what I put out for myself to be able to achieve. And at this time and this moment, because we know the tides change, you got to change with the tides. That is this digital currency, NFT, future metaverse thing going on right now. And so putting my profits into that to grow more profits later is something I'm very interested in. And that's how I kind of got into this point. Any OG Slayers who've been hanging out and watching for a while, I really got into the NFT space because I enjoy the idea of being able to rent those NFTs in the future. I mean, to even buy the land in the metaverse is something that I'm super interested in. I just have not committed to a metaverse and the price of the land in the metaverse. So many metaverses have been out for so many years. We're just starting to kind of hear about it mainstream, that those land prices, granted, are not that expensive, $12,000 and up. However, is that a metaverse that I want to be a part of? So that those are questions I have to ask myself, and questions you're going to want to ask yourself too. As a non-professional myself, just here for entertainment purposes, and Buchanan as well, just for here for entertainment purposes to share our journey. There's a lot of reading and research that goes into that to try to, decide, do you want to be on Decentraland? Do you want to be on Treehouse or Tree? There's so many names. I can't remember. You can just Google it. But like, which one do you want to be on and how does it work? Is it for an augmented reality experience? Is it for a gamification experience? I lean toward more a gamification experience because, one, not only do I want to participate in the side where it's going to make me money, I want to participate in the side where I enjoy being there. So those are just things that I think about. But for the most overall place, I want to turn my dollar into thousands of dollars in the shortest amount of time possible. And with like what Buchanan showed you on his spreadsheet and different things like that, there's possibility here, at least for me and my own personal journey. You're going to have to do your research and talk to your professional to decide if there's growth for you in this journey as well.
I agree. When the internet started becoming what we know today, and you had these social media companies that came out, people were trying to wrap their brains around that. Wow, what is the value behind these social media companies? And the value is how many people are using the network.
Right.
And that's the same way you have to look at these crypto projects and the way you have to look at these metaverses, I think, as well. How many people are actually using these metaverses, these tokens, these NFTs?
Yeah.
And what is the probability of having mass adoption? Everyone's trying to get mass adoption, right?
Yeah.
You want to own the market. And
Yep.
I think the project that's going to have the best chance of owning most of the market is going to be the one that makes the least amount of friction for the average Joe, your grandma, a 6-year-old child to be able to enjoy their metaverse
Yeah.
and to purchase and take part of these digital assets. And not everyone is really into crypto. Not everyone knows how a digital wallet is going to work, and being able to purchase these NFTs with your actual debit card is huge,
It
guys.
is.
It is very huge, but you have to do your own research.
Yeah.
Just like we said.
Yeah. And it's true. I mean, there's so many projects out there. You just gotta pick the one that fits you. After you've done your research and you've thought about it, what do you like? Because we all like the same thing. You might look at VV and say, well, that might not be the project for me. That's okay. VV doesn't have to be the project for you. It is the project for us, but you might find something that hits home with you. And so you want to be a part of that. So I always just encourage that you do the reading, you listen to people who are talking about the topic, but don't just take their word for it. Back up what they said with your reading so you can make sure everything is legit. I also want to point out Facebook, now Meta, it does have 2 videos, I believe. It's like a little video series out about the metaverse. It's real creepy. I didn't even get to finish watching it because it was creepy. Just watch it. The YouTube channel is now Meta. Used to be the Facebook YouTube channel, whatever. META. And then he's just explaining kind of in this weird Twilight Zone horror movies about to play after I explain this type way. But he does give some good information. And then also look at Microsoft with Bill Gates, I believe it is, who also has a metaverse, which is very different than the Facebook metaverse. The metaverse. Anyways, so take a look at that. It's trending all over the internet and on YouTube, so it'll be easy to find. And then that way you can just kind of get some facts of what's going on, and then look at it from like the CNET, C-SPAN, CNN report. That way you can get kind of a third party of what they're saying, condensing that down. Just because I know the metaverse is so new to so many of us, trying to wrap our heads around it, but they're not the only ones out there. It's just the big news that just happened just now. So everyone's talking about it and putting up content about it, and it kind of just helps you to absorb that information so you can better understand. So you have a starting point to then look at where you're going to go. Because again, Microsoft, there is kind of more toward work, and then Meta, aka Facebook, is more toward, social media. And then the VVverse and Decentraland and stuff like that is augmented reality with gamification for some of those apps. So it's kind of little categories inside of a big category, but that's kind of a good place to start. So if you're looking for a place to start to kind of read about that, and if you're saying, well, Tiana, why are you talking about the metaverse? Because you use your NFTs inside of a metaverse. So I just want to make sure they go hand in hand like peanut butter and jelly. If you ask my husband, and don't ask him, he says I'll buy the peanut butter and won't buy the jelly, and so he just get a peanut butter sandwich. But it's like peanut butter and jelly. Metaverse and NFTs, they go hand in hand. Okay. Do you have anything, Buchanan, to wrap us up for today?
Well, guys, we're really open to any of your suggestions. So if there's any videos that you've seen recently on YouTube about, NFTs and digital collectibles, and you want us to comment on it or give our opinion of what we think about it, definitely let us know in the comments and reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you guys.
For sure. And thanks again, Slayers, for coming to hang out. We'll see you next time.